All right, so I'm throwing a video up real quick. Dummy tired, but I'm not dead because I know niggas gonna be in the comments. Where have you been? I'm not dead. All right. But before I start the what if, this what if is gonna be what if Deku had a teleportation quirk, but it's gonna be a Naruto one because it's gonna be what if he has my vape is done charging. It's gonna be hold up. It's gonna really be him learning that he has an ability, and the ability is gonna be pretty much like Naruto's dad, the fourth Hokage. But I couldn't really think of a good title for that. So I think what if Deku had a teleportation quirk would be far, far more better. Plus, any and everyone would be able to understand. Because if I got some non-Naruto fans, they're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this fourth Hokage guy?" And it might discourage them from watching it. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna put, "What if he had a teleportation?" But for the non-Naruto fans, all I'm gonna really do right now is just explain the very basics of the power, which is self-explanatory for the Naruto fans. But I digress. So how this is gonna work is, hold on. Not as good as I wanted it to be. Disappointing. It's gonna work in the sense of man's gonna discover it by accident. I don't really know how they discovered their quirks. Like, you know how Stan has that blood quirk? What, he drunk some nigga blood by accident, or female? He was eating a bitch out? Like, how do you discover your quirk? So I'm gonna say around when he was a kid or whatever, when everyone was getting their quirks, he discovered he had a quirk. It was based around a weird dream he had, where like he'll put a marking or whatever down, and he was able to teleport to said marking. So he realized pretty soon that at a young age he was like, "Oh, I do have a quirk," but it was just teleportation, nothing too big, nothing too amazing. He's able to teleport to people really fast, and that's a good thing. But he didn't know how to use it properly because it costed a lot of energy at first, because it wasn't a quirk, it was chakra that he was using. Because I hate doing this, but I'm gonna say his mom knew about Izuku's dad's past, and how he was telling stories about how he came from a different world in a different time. And um so he's not air quotes human. He has half ninja in him, right? So with him being like that or whatever, right? He also does have an older brother. His older brother is Naruto Uzumaki. So instead of calling him Izuku Midoriya, we call him Izuku Uzumaki. But um, I'm just gonna call him Izuku just to keep it simple. His brother is not really around because his brother's out always doing hero work and stuff. So he doesn't really talk to his brother that often. And his brother's quirk is energy manipulation, or at least they think, but it's really chakra. But once again, his brother's not always around, so Naruto won't really be in the show that often, or in this what if that often. So we'll come back to him in a moment, right? But he discovers this like one day because he was going through some of his father's old scrolls, and he was like, forbidden, not forbidden, but a really fancy like S jutsu, and he was like, hmm. So he tried it and it worked. So he realized he needed to build up his like chakra endurance, right? So like every day since he discovered this, he was doing some training, and he was doing physical training. He was basically kind of following the scroll and also learning different types of ninjutsu. He wasn't really big on weapons, He was just more big on small items that he could put his mark on. And I'm gonna say it's an AM because you know All Might. For the time being, he might change it, but it doesn't what matter what the mark is, but it has to be a certain mark, and he has to ingrain it with this chakra. And once he does this or whatever, he can teleport to said location. Doesn't matter how far, doesn't matter none of this, but it does sometimes take a drain on him when he does too much. But he's constantly training this, and no one knows he has a quirk, so people are low key still trying to fuck with him and stuff. But he doesn't really care. He brushes it off. But but on the day that Bakugo tries to take his notebook away from him, he looks him dead in the eye and says, "I'm gonna need you to give me that back, my guy." And Bakugo's like, "What? You're gonna do what?" He points away, points back. He's gone. He's behind Bakugo. And he says, "Can I have that back, please?" And Bakugo's like, "What just? How did that nerd? No, he can't be faster than me." You know how insecure Bakugo is, low key. He snatches the book back. "Please leave me alone. I've never done anything wrong with you. If you claim to want to be a hero, why do you pick on me? Hmm? Hmm? Just because you think you were born with a good quirk? That's not cool, my guy. That's not cool." And now this is where the sludge villain would come into play, but since Deku was basically doing some energy training, he lost his focus and composure for a couple of minutes, and that's when the sludge villain messed with him. But he was able to throw a kunai out at the last second, so he was able to teleport out. And then he said, "I've been wanting to try this new move." Whole bunch of kunais, whole bunch of kunais. New technique. Start throwing kunai. Deku flash. And so he eventually started slicing or dicing the villain, but with the speed and how fast he was moving, it kind of made the sludge villain into mincemeat. And when that happened or whatever, the second that happened, the sludge villain was just incapacitated. All Might comes in to play, and I'm here, and you know how All Might's all lame and stuff. You know how All Might is. So he like already had the villain in container, but like with a special seal on it, the seal won't get broken. Then when All Might leaves, he asks, "Can a person that has a weak quirk become a hero?" And All Might, de-transforms and stuff. He's like, "What is your quirk?" And he tells, "Well, I could put a marking on something." And he's like, "Yeah. I don't know how strong you'll be. You might have to be like a rescue hero or something." Because the way it was like produced or the way Deku talked about it, it was more on the scale of the fact that it sounds more like a recon or quirk, not like something you would use offensively. You know what I'm saying? So Deku's just like, So he keeps his training up. Sludge villain attacks, but Deku had markers all over that area. So everyone else is bugging out. But they don't really see this dude, right? So what happens is he comes in out of the cut, out of nowhere. But like all you see is like these little markings, but like they're like kunais basically all over the ground for whatever reason. And so you'll see a flash and you don't see it. You'll keep seeing this happen. And then slowly but for surely the water and stuff, I mean not the water, the flames and stuff is slowly but for surely getting like drenched out. And like just eventually it's like no more flames and everyone's puzzled on how this is happening. All Might knows what's going on because he knows that this boy's quirk is and how it works. And so what end up happening is he keeps doing that, and then he does the same thing he did to the villain the last time, but he puts a marker on a Bakugo and like teleports him far out of the radius, like somewhere off over there where some other heroes are at. And then eventually he looks at the sludge villain, but it's only like for like nanoseconds. Like don't quote me on the scaling here, but I'm just saying it's not that long of a time. But like only the sludge villain saw it and said, "Oh no, you brat!" So he tries to hit, but like by the time he does, he's already getting chopped up into mincemeat. And then what Deku does is he puts a whole bunch of explosives around him and blows him up. But like it doesn't kill him because of his body and his how his quirk work. So he's just in like a tiny goo puddle. And once again, he puts another container of seal, but extra tight this time, so Mans doesn't get out or anything like that. And then he does the big body dip, and he leaves and he keeps it moving, and keeps it walking, and he's like, pathetic. But he doesn't stop to take credit or whatever. He like for like 2 seconds, a kunai was thrown away. Everyone dodges out, and like he teleports right behind All Might, but like only for like a brief second. And just like, what were you saying? And then he like teleports home. So it's like he's gone now. Huh? Plus, I'm gonna say he's gonna get to a point where he can manifest chakra knives to like where he doesn't always need to have a knife on him, but it takes less chakra if he actually has some knives on him. So now after that happened, we'll get to the part where Deku, if he would take one for all, but since I always make him OP, and since most people want him to be OP, or since most people want the him to have one for all and shit, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and say he has it. I can always retcon it if someone has a different idea, but I'm gonna go ahead and say he has it, and he's gonna get it. But this is actually gonna help him dramatically because it gave him a boost in power, agility, and all this stuff. He was already fit to begin with, but now he's dummy fit. And All Might was like, yeah, we're gonna go to this beach and do some training. And then All Might's like, huh? And Deku's like, yeah, I needed somewhere to train my ability to transport large objects. And he cleared out the whole beach. He got like a big marker, put it down somewhere, and started transporting items left and right, left and right. And he couldn't do it all in one day, but that was helping him build up his energy reserves. He's still physically strong and stuff, but the main thing was for him to be able to use his quirk effectively, he needed to be able to transport large objects and large things at will, fast and quick and in a hurry. So he already did that. So instead of that training, him and All Might, they start fighting all the way up until the entrance exam. So during this time period, as they're fighting and stuff's going on, Deku says, why don't you kick? All Might's like, I mean, you punch, but like, you have legs, so why don't you kick? All Might's kind of embarrassed by this question. He never really thought about this until now. So, enough with that embarrassing moment and he ha he hoo. As time progresses and stuff, Deku isn't solely relying on his quirk, and it's not really a quirk, but he's not solely relying on it. So he's doing other means of training. He's keeping up with All Might and stuff. All Might's using different percentages and stuff, and so he's trying to push his all for one. So one time he tried to push it past like 30. It fucked up his body, so they had to stop training for a couple days. And then they continued back. And so eventually, after the training's done, I'd say he's able to use 15% comfortably. And he's around like 30% when he's really pushing it, all right? Okay. And before the entrance exam, like a day or two before the entrance exam, he gets a visit from his brother. Or I'll probably say stepbrother. I really don't know, but I'll just say his brother. He gets talks to his brother or whatever. And his brother's just like, oh, it looks like you're stronger. Your chakra is a lot much more powerful than what it was last time we met. You want to spar for a bit? He says, sure. And he throws a whole bunch of kunais around. He's like, wait, this is like Naruto after the, I want to say after the war arc. And for the non-Naruto fans, this is pretty much like around the time period right before he became Hokage. I think almost everyone would at least know or understand what I'm referring to. So he's like, okay, multi-shadow clone jutsu. And before he could finish that, Deku's in his face and they're throwing hands immediately. And like he didn't start using one for all yet. He just started like pressuring Naruto, and they're just throwing good hands, just kick, flip, whoop, teleport, elbow to the back. Naruto's like trying to do his shadow clone, but every time he tries to do that, he knee to the face, elbow to the throat, just good hand. So Naruto actually had to start fighting back himself. He throws out a Rasengan, but right before the Rasengan hits, Deku teleports. And he's shirtless, but he has a tank top on, so it's okay. So as the fight's going on, it's a big body fight. Naruto says, "All right, I got you." Throws a shuriken Rasengan. Deku smirks. I was waiting for this. He immediately powers up a lot of his chakra mixed with one for all. So it's like one for all chakra, and like he powers it up, right? And he says, "I'm gonna end this now." And so he throws some shurikens up, not shurikens, but he throws up some kunines. He throws them like in almost every direction. So it's like up, left, right, and a few kind of diagonal, but basically going down, right? And the second he does this, Naruto's confused because the Rasengan's thrown at him, and it's coming. And it's coming fast, like I'm coming, right? And so the second this happens or whatever, he immediately jumps up and gets teleported by one of them. He goes into his back pocket and he pulls out like one of those big ass shurikens and throws two of them. And he starts performing some basic hand signs, right? That shit multiplies into multiple ones of them. Naruto sees this and he starts like backing up, running away. But you remember those kunans you were throwing the other way, right? Those comes into play, right? So as the shurikens or whatever are chasing him, Deku just so he's just getting hit with a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then Deku stands down, takes like a good stance, like a karate stance almost, puts a whole bunch of one for all over his body, because that's one of the basic things he was learning when he was using his energy. Pushes Naruto back with like a chi punch, and then eventually the second that does that, he gets pushed back into the shurikens and they wrap around and blow up. Naruto comes out and like he's a little battered and abused, and like remember those shurikens Deku threw up, they're still slowly falling and descending, right? So he's running, they're running. Naruto's about to go for a punch, and Deku's about to go for a kick. And Deku missed the kick. Naruto's about to hit it. He strikes again. He teleports right above right above Naruto, and then starts slashing. And then he pulls out like a katana he was saving, and he like flips it around, and then goes for the cut, and cuts Naruto's head off. And then he's like, whew. That was a good workout. So, how long you plan to watch? And then right below Deku's foot, all you hear is poof. Naruto comes out. Ah, damn it! I didn't think you would know. I'm not stupid, brother. You used to play that trick on me all the time. You used to play hide and go seek. I'm not stupid. He said, "Ah, damn it. Well, I guess you're not right." He's like, "How long have you known?" The second the fight started. Really now? Yeah. Of course you did. Right before Naruto could say anything, he had a blade to his neck, bleeding. He cut it deep enough just to see if this was the real one. He looks at Naruto. See. Thought I was joking. Yeah, thought I was joking. Joke's on you. I'm already behind you. The real Naruto, well, actually, it's not even the real Naruto. It's just another clone. But Deku has a clone of his own right behind him with a blade. Naruto's like, well, shit. All right. Let's call it one for now. And he's like, yeah, we better. Yeah. But before I end this, there's the group that wants me to join them. And me personally, I don't care either way. But the problem is their sins, right? So, lust, greed, envy, and all that, right? And I want to be the eighth sin. I want to be a certain sin. But there's a few names. There's a few names that we're going through or going over, right? The only reason I wait until the end of the video, because if you don't watch the video all the way, you really don't care about the content. But there's 3 different names we got here, right? But I'll give you a small little background so you can say this is the bonus content, right? So So a long time ago, Lucifer found the most cruel of all cruel people and made each of them represent a certain sin. The strongest sin of them all is pride, of course. So we got pride, envy, wrath, gluttony, lust, sloth, greed. I think those are all seven. I really wasn't able to keep count. And then there was one sin that was stronger than all those sins put together. The sin of all sins. The eighth sin. Okay. So some lore in legend says with all this immense hatred and power, he causes mass depression. And others refer to him only as the eighth sin. Some people refer to him something even better than that, but the sin of all sins. So let me ask you, I'm going to put down the poll. Because this is the only reason the video didn't get uploaded the exact same time I got done, because I need to edit it and stuff. But what will we call this sin? The sin of depression? The sin of all sins? The eighth sin? Or something of a combination of them? He's known through history with many different things, and actually it's weird because not many people know of this sin. But to give you a little more understanding, at times he has attributes of everybody and nobody at the same time. Sometimes he's envious of idiots because they don't understand pain, but then other times he's prideful beyond all imagine while lusting, just like rape everything or something to that effect. But that's pretty much it, and hope y'all enjoy. Catch y'all later.